Friends, hello, hope you are well. Let's talk about something that's going on right now, right in front of us. So, today in the stock market, it hit a brick wall today and tumbled down like Humpty Dumpty himself. Consumer confidence index reading came out and it was not met with positive review, and the stock market crashed very early into the day. And then we had some recovery later on today. And obviously with that, there was other things that took place today. Nvidia finally started to come back after the CEO of Nvidia said, hey, I'm done selling shares, and investors like that. And I say that because I'm going to talk about that with something else here in a minute. But two, with that as well, over in China today, we're launching aggressive rate cuts to save their market. So the whole world is spinning, and it is obviously leaving a lot in turmoil here. So no one is safe from anybody's market at this point. So going into Sofi and going into Palantir, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there are things to talk about with both these stocks. And obviously you're reading the thumbnail and you're going like, the same company, you're already writing your very, very aggressive comment right now, and I completely understand why you would do that. So let's break this down and talk about what I am yapping about here. So like I said, not wanting to sound like a broken record, but I said this particular thing, like I've been saying this the past 2 weeks. I've been saying, hey, like I believe Sofi eventually here is going to start running like Palantir, where Palantir for years was sitting at $6 to $8, and we were like, my God, this we know this company's undervalued with what they're doing. They are apart from the crowd. They're just different, and they're doing well. And that's what we're seeing with Sofi. Sofi, though, is just in this situation where it's struggling with this market. It's struggling with this market. And obviously, these rate cuts are great. They are wonderful, but there's still some stuff lingering out there, even with these index reports today. With we've got inflation still not going great. It's still pretty hot out there, pretty not good. And then on top of that, the job reports not good. The market does not like that. And with Sofi being a bank, it is so fragile with all this kind of news. So in the long run, we're going to be just fine with Sofi. But short term, this is where I've been warning people. So you can go back and watch videos that I have been yapping about here with Sofi. When we saw these rate cuts finally start, when it was like, hey, we're doing rate cuts, I told people, I said, hey, listen, I would be careful buying Sofi above $8. I would not personally buy this around $8.30, $8.40, $8.50. When we saw that big first massive FOMO push into the first day of like, hey, rate cuts are happening with Sofi, with the market, but Sofi reacted to it. And I hope people did it, man, because I was like, listen, the coming week, which is this week, we're probably going to see a lot of sell-off, and I still think there's going to be a big shakeout in the market. And we're somewhat seeing that. I don't really think this was a shakeout today. I think this is just the market reacting to some pretty not great news. A lot of great news, just like boom, boom, boom today. But this whole week, there's probably going to be a few of those things happening. We're not even done with this week, and there's still some stuff that's going to come out here by Friday that the market could go like, hey, we don't like that either, and we're going to keep dropping here. So Sofi is not in a safe zone right now. Long term, yeah, SoFi's safe. We're going to be good. We got these rate cuts coming. SoFi's going to be releasing quarterlies here at the beginning of November. They should be great. They probably not going to be like out of this world, but they should at least meet, and that's all we're asking for at this moment. So with that, we have SoFi, a stock that is It is unbelievable how you can day trade this stock right now, where it is so volatile right now with what's going on with the stock. And obviously, if you're betting against the stock, if you're doing option trading on it, and you're bearish on it, you have made a lot of money this week. In which that's kind of like what I was hinting at. When I say negative things about stocks I talk about, obviously people clicking on this video, they're wanting positive, feel-good butterfly reports of SoFi. They're not wanting me to come on here and be like, listen, Next week, this thing is going to fall off a cliff and blow up on the way down. They don't, people don't want to hear that, majority of people, but there's the things you need to hear. You need to hear the double-edged sword of what's going on and be in the reality of what is going on in this overall market right now. And SoFi is just, it's not safe just yet. It's not safe just yet. We know there's greener grass coming here, but right now we're still in this like pasture of just like there's not much left. We're trying to get somewhere, but we're just not there yet. And then when you look at Palantir over here, Palantir, it couldn't be. It's going so great over here in Palantir land. I mean, what more can we ask for here? What more couldn't we ask for? We've got a company that at this point, analysts are now saying it's undervalued, even at almost $40. The CEO has come out and said, hey, we have no competition. We are alone out there. What we do, no one else is doing, or nowhere even close to what we're doing. We're going to be even bigger in the next 5 years and giving crazy stock prices. I mean, analysts out here are giving insane stock prices of what they believe Palantir is going to be. And why shouldn't it be? The FOMO around Palantir is going to really pick up here. If Palantir within the next year can make it to $80 to $100, especially in this coming year here, with even potentially January bringing in a somewhat of a bull run in the market because of a new president, Palantir is going to really start to get into this other lane of investors. It's going to get into a lane of FOMO. It's going to get into a lane of, well, I don't want to miss out, and people are they're going to buy Palantir at $50. They're going to buy Palantir at $60, $70, $80. Look at Nvidia. Just months ago, we were buying Nvidia at, $1,000 a share because we were like, oh my God, it's going to, and now look, I'm not talking about Nvidia. Nvidia is doing great. It's going to continue to do great, but staying on the subject here of Palantir, I'm drinking the juice hard over here in Palantir land. Like, I'm drinking the juice with SoFi, but obviously it's a much harder juice to get down right now for a lot of people, and I completely understand that. But Palantir, I still think Palantir, even if you're buying Palantir for the long run, say like you're looking into the next 5 to 10 years, or like, you know what, I'm using Palantir as like a savings account. I'm not even going to look at it. This is something that I'm going to hold for decades to come because of what the future looks like with this company and the stock. And you're not worried about buying Palantir at $30, $40, $50, $67, $100 maybe, and sooner than we think. You're not worried about that. Okay. Case closed. You're not worrying about what's going to happen in the next 4 months because the projection of the next few years is huge with Palantir. So you're like, whatever, I'm just going to unload money into this company automatically. I'm not even looking at it. But then there are people too that go like, well, almost $40 for a share is really expensive. Yeah, it is. But think where this thing look how fast Palantir is moving here, and when we do see another run in this market, especially AI run in this market, Palantir is going to be up there with these big tech companies running it, because it's still affordable to somebody that has a lot more money than we do. I'm talking like big investment firms. So going back to SoFi, what I was saying here was that I have been saying for a while now that, SoFi somewhat resembles on a stock chart what Palantir went through for a long time, where we were like, why is Palantir so cheap? Why is it $6 to $8? It cannot get out of this $6 to $8 range. Well, old Jimmy Boy just came out here with a public statement saying like, hey, he said the same thing I've been saying. He said, I kind of look at Palantir as somewhat of a SoFi, and SoFi as a Palantir, in the sense of where the company is financially, where they're going, what they're trying to do, and how they're just apart from their bread and butter of other companies of kind of being in that same pool. So you can look up the article. I'm not going to read it word by word here. That I don't think anybody wants me to do that, for God's sakes. But generally, this is what Jim is saying out there. Now, obviously, a lot of people, when Jim says something, they get very worried because Jim has a very good let's say, not a great track record of when he supports a company, it usually goes under. But I don't see that happening here with either of these companies. Key points here to know is that, listen, Palantir is a much safer bet if you're wanting to see high reward fast. Palantir is going to be on a strong burn here, more and more. And there's nothing to hold it back. That's the beauty of Palantir, that there's nothing really going to hold it back. It's going to keep breaking these new grounds. And this is the same thing, like 2 years ago, people were saying this about Nvidia. They were like, it's not, I can't do anymore. It's not going to go anywhere. People were saying that about Tesla. There's people back a decade ago that were like, this Apple company is not going anywhere. It's not going to do what they say it's going to do. Sofi. Talking about Sofi, I know it's hard to see right now. I know it's hard to see. But when you're wanting to get into a company, this is what it looks like when you're wanting to get into a company. You're wanting to get into a company when it's starting to really produce good quarterlies, when it's starting to raise a lot of capital to where it has it on hand, to where it's meeting a particular customer basis. What is SoFi's main customer base right now? It is younger people. It is a younger generation. It's people that the last 10 years graduated college, got student loans, now they're getting car loans, they're trying to get house loans. We have rate cuts coming. What do you think younger generation is going to do? They're going to try to start buying houses. Who are they going to get these loans with? SoFi. Car loans, personal loans, whatever it be. As the newer generation goes more and more, from what we're seeing with data and evidence, the data supports this, SoFi is going to continue to grow. And this is why big investors see this right now with SoFi. But SoFi, short term right now, the next 30 days with SoFi, I believe, is going to be some of the rockiest chart movement we have seen. I stand by this statement still. I've been preaching this, and I'm not going to shut up with saying it. I believe one day SoFi is going to be... I said this yesterday. Look, I just caught myself. I said this yesterday. I said, hey, one day SoFi is going to be at $8. The next day SoFi is going to go back down to a $7.60. It did it today. I believe SoFi can then go back to like a $7.80. It did it today. And then it can go back to an $8.10 mark. Might do it tomorrow. Or it can go right back down to a low 7 and then right back up into a 7.50. This is just going to be the situation with SoFi right now. It is very, very volatile. It's very just aggressive trading is going on over here with this stock. I know it's hard to have patience with this, and listen, it is chum in the water right now over in SoFi land. Long term, you're gonna be fine. If you're buying this under $8, you're just fine. At a low 8 even, you're gonna be just fine. Just know, we will have our day with SoFi. The winning day will come here with SoFi. I love SoFi. I'm deeply in love with Palantir. These are companies that I will be holding, and I think pretty much every person that invests in the stock market should and does invest in these companies already. There's a reason why we keep watching videos on SoFi. There's a reason that we keep coming back to SoFi, because we know there's something there. Yes, it is difficult right now to continue to push some sort of love for SoFi when it's beat us up so much, but we have this quarterly coming up. We have this election coming up. We have a lot more rate cuts coming up. These are very big positive things that are really going to affect SoFi. And when these rate cuts start to bleed into SoFi's quarterlies and in people's pockets, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where things are going to start to happen here. So it's cheap right now, but this is why Kramer came out and said, hey, we could see a SoFi be somewhat resembling a Palantir. This is what he's talking about. One day, something could happen massive where we go like, when did SoFi turn to a $15 stock? $20? $25? This is how people get rich. This is how people get rich. Friends, take care. I really do wish all of you the best of luck.